We have a song to work on. So I did some thinking and I realized the song is in the wrong key. I was playing in G major and I just realized that it sounded better for my voice if I shifted it up. So we're gonna change keys. But the first thing I'm gonna do is re-record the guitars in the new key. I'm gonna be shifting up 6 semitones. So I'm gonna grab my capo on the 6th fret, and I always like to tune the guitar with the capo on, because often with guitars, if you tune them and get them all in tune without a capo and then you put a capo on, with the intonation, it will just kind of put them out of tune again. So I'm gonna tune the guitar with the capo on so that it's exactly in tune for this particular key, for this particular song. Grab this. Cool. So the other thing I realized was that I was getting some RF interference on the condenser mic I was using in the last session, and I don't have any other cables to use. So I'm just switching to the only other mic that I have, which is the SM57. It sounds okay on this guitar, and I thought it would be even more of a fun challenge to try and make this sound as good as possible just with the 57. So I'm gonna be using that from now on for the guitars. So I liked the guitar part that I came up with for the verse the other day, but it's kind of hard to change chords as I go. So I'm just gonna record each chord individually and then just put them all together so that everything sounds nice and clean. Guitar's out of tune again. So with this, I'm only playing essentially three notes or 4 notes. So I'm playing, yeah, those 3 strings and then that note. So I'm hearing these 2 strings, which are the same note, they're slightly out of tune with each other. So I'm just gonna tune just for those notes to make sure that they're really well in tune. Yeah, see, this is 20 cents sharp. I'm gonna tune it so that when I'm playing it open, it's around 10 or 15 cents flat, so that when I'm fretting the note, perfectly in tune. I just realized I recorded the guitar in kind of a different picking rhythm pattern that I was doing in the last session. So in the last session it was whereas this one is and I think I like the last one better. So I'm going to redo everything I just did for the last hour. It's just a better rhythm. It's just a better rhythm. All right, now I'm going to go to the second part where we've got that chord. All right, and then in the second verse, now I'm gonna do the double track. And then the second half of this verse. And I'm gonna just start playing a little bit before the chord actually comes in, even though I'm technically playing the wrong chord because I'll be playing when I should be playing a different chord. But the reason I wanna do it is because if I just start when the chord is supposed to come in, when I stitch them together, it will kind of sound like there's just a brief pause because I'm not pushing in time with the flow. If my fingers aren't already moving, I can kind of tend to come in a little bit late or on the beat rather than kind of pushing if I was playing through this whole progression at once, if that makes sense. I'll show you what I mean. Let me give you an example of what would happen if I wasn't playing the guitar before the chord was to come in, and then I'll show you an example of me playing the guitar before the chord comes in, and when I cut them together you'll see the difference it makes. So this would be an example of me not playing guitar and only coming in when that chord is supposed to be playing. So it would sound like this. So it kind of sounds like you've just cut to a completely new take. Whereas if I switch to the example where I am playing a little bit before the chord is actually supposed to come in, here's what it sounds like. So it kind of just sounds more natural, like more how you would play it normally if you were just playing the whole thing through. So it's a cool little trick to just be having your fingers moving before, you're actually supposed to cut into it. So I'm going to tune the guitar again for this next chord because I want to really just make sure that every single chord individually is in tune. So I'm going to fret the notes and play them and make sure each note is in tune for the chord. All right, that's pretty good. Here we go. Nope, that's out of tune. All right, now we've got the second half of that verse, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. So it comes in at bar 85. All right, now we'll do the second guitar. So all right, now second part of the verse. All right, now second verse. There's 4 bars at the start and then we come in with the 6th chord. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're coming on bar 109. So I'll give myself 2 bars. All right, now at the end of the section as well. So we'll be coming in on bar 117. All right, now moving on to the second double track guitar. All right, just the final part, so coming in bar 117. All right, now we can move on to our final chord, which is the 5 chord. So going back to the, where are we? First verse. So it'll be 4 bars of the 4 chord, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 2 bars of the 6 chord, 1, 2, and then we'll be coming in on bar 79 for the 5 chord. So here we go. All right, and moving on to the end of the verse, it'll be the last 2 bars, so 87 and 88. Whoa, let's not destroy our ears. All right, now we can do the double track. All right. All right, moving on to the second verse. Okay, now the end of that section. Then at the very end, missed it. All right, let me edit all of these together and then we can hear what we've got. Editing is done. Let's see what we've got. Sounds pretty good. You can hear there's a little bit of noise in the background. I'm not too worried about that because I kind of want this to be more of a lo-fi thing. And there's absolutely no processing on these tracks at the moment. It's completely dry. So what I can do is I can maybe use this RC20 that I just have in my template and see if I can make these sound a little bit more lo-fi. Let's have a look. Yeah, so just using the distortion channel here and not using the EQ, but that already kind of just softens off the high end. And that noise just kind of helps to add to the lo-fi rawness of this guitar part. So it's cool. So I'm going to name this verse guitar 1, verse guitar 2, and then let's record our chorus guitars. I'm going to use the same parts I used from the last session. Just make sure I'm tuned. Okay, let me just check how that's sounding with this mic position because we're playing different frequencies and I want to hear how the mic's picking this up. Okay, it's not bad. Sounds cool. It's really hard to play this part with these strings. They're so close together and small, but we'll get there. Again. Okay, I'm playing this kind of harder with more intensity because it's the chorus, but I'm wondering if I just still play it softly, if that will actually sound better. It will, one, be easy to play, and I can use compression to kind of make it sound bigger. Let's try that. Much better. Now let's do the double track. You know what, for the chorus, I'm not gonna double track the guitars because it's kind of boring when everything is just double tracked. So I'm gonna try and come up with a separate guitar part for the left and right channel that go together and sound really full and complement each other. You know, before I had the capo on the 6th fret playing with G major chord shapes. Now I'm going to switch to capo on the 1st fret and be playing C major chord shapes, something like this. So I'm going to have to just give that a go and see how it sounds together with the other track. Guitar is tuned. Let's give ourselves 4 bars again. All right, let's hear how it sounds together with the other track. Let's try something like that, like an F major 7 shape. I need my shaker. All right, what does that sound like? Versus yeah, I think I'm going to stick with this kind of like F major 7 shape for now. It separates the guitars a lot more in the chorus. They're playing two very different parts. So let's stick with that for now and see what we can come up with. Here we go. That one was good. Let's hear them together. Now I'm thinking about how I can make the second verse going into the second chorus just feel a little bit different to the first verse going into the first chorus. I'm thinking I can either have some sort of 1-bar break or musical break or just something to make it feel different. I need to figure it out. I've given up 100 now. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'll just come in at least with these guitars for now at the same spots. So the start of the chorus. So Still got to figure out how long that second chorus is going to go. I don't think this is going to have a bridge or anything. I think it's just going to go verse, chorus, and then finish on that second chorus, maybe like a double chorus at the end of the second chorus. And then I'm thinking either fade out, which I don't typically like to do, but it feels like that could just suit this song, or maybe finish on like a, and then just like a hard cut. So I just got to kind of figure that out. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna do the hard cut. Let's go again. All right, one more. Now we get to do it all again for the other guitar part. What am I doing with my life? Let's retune. All right, my fingers are tired. I'm going to edit these chorus sections now and just choose the best takes from each of the takes that I've got. And then I'll see if it sounds good. And if there's anything I need to fix, I'll just punch that in after I've gone through and edited it. All right, so let's just have a listen to all of these now from the verse going into the chorus. Okay, so I had them in mono. Let's pan them out again. Let's hear what the transition sounds like. Let's swap these, see what it sounds like. Yeah, I like that a lot better. I think that's good. I'm gonna go and edit a bunch of these guitars and then maybe look at doing some piano or putting some other synths or something in here. But yeah, I think we got quite a bit done today, so productive session. Thanks so much for joining me, and I will see you in the next video.